Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. During this video, I'll be showing you how you can make your own moving platforms in Unity. And just to show you the final result, we have the platform, as you can see, moving from one location to another. You can have as many locations as you like for your own platform with this approach. And if I were to put my player on top of it, if I actually manage to do so, you'll see that the player is moving along with the platform and can move normally without any interruption. So let's get to it. Just to briefly have a disclaimer, this is a beginner approach, and if you want me to do a more advanced approach without any flutter and be more polished, I can do that in a future video. So comment that below if you're interested in a more advanced way of doing so. This is again a beginner approach. So what you're going to need is actually an empty game object that will put all of the necessary components for the platform under it. So create an empty by going right click and create empty, and as you can see, it has only a transform, and beneath it we have the platform. So in my case it's a cube. You can use a model, that will be a bit more interesting. So I just created a cube. As you can see, it has the mesh filter, mesh renderer, and the box collider, and the script that I'm going to be discussing in just a second. And then we have the two locations that the platform is moving from one other. So it goes from one of these locations to the other and back and forth like this. You can have include as many locations as you like, and these serve only just to kind of help the platform and help us save some time and have those as the starting and end point of the platform. So where should the platform be moving between? And again, you can have as many as you like, and you can see that I have the two transforms of these two game objects onto my script, and we're using that to navigate the platform left and right. And I've encapsulated everything into a single script, but you could split the couple of parts to different scripts, and I think it will be more organized, but I feel like it will be easier to actually show you in a single script. So again, in this script we have the transform location that you saw on the inspector. So this is an array of transforms, and this you're going to be putting through the inspector the location that you want the platform to be moving between, and also an index. So this will be kind of pointing to which location should the platform be moving towards now. And in the update function, um, we have this if statement that checks if the current position is equal, or in this case not equal, to the position that we're moving towards, towards the location that we're moving towards. So essentially what this thing is doing, we're comparing the platform's current position to the location that it's targeting, and if it's not the same, it's going to be moving towards that kind of move like this forward until it actually reaches that point and then push to the other side. So if this is not the case, so if the platform hasn't reached its location that it's targeting, we're going to be using the move towards function from the vector3 class, and we're passing in our current position, so the position of the platform, the position of the target that we're looking for, so the location's position, and then we're passing in the speed, so how fast should we be moving. I just used the 2 multiplied by time dot delta time, and this is to kind of balance out things, and I usually always include this when using this specific function, and just override the transfer position, and this will give you a new position based on the data that you passed in, and this will essentially move your platform towards the location that you want. So if the case is that this is actually true, so if the position of the platform is equal to the location, it means that we have reached our destination. So we're going to uh, push on the location index to be pointing towards the next location. But first we also need to check if we reach the final location, and if that's the case, we just need to point it to the first location again and start looping through that. So in the case that if we're going to be checking if the location index in addition to 1 is equal to the length of the locations array. So in the case, for example, in my case I have 2, this will be equal to 2. And with indexes you'll have in an array of 2 elements it will be 0 and 1, never actually has 2 as an index. So in case that this will be equal to the length, it means that we are currently at the final location, and thus we're going to be resetting the location index to 0. So this will be pointing back to the first location. Otherwise, if this is not the case, so we still have locations to run through. We're going to be increasing the location just by one, and simple as that. We have the moving platform. So this is responsible for the actual movement of the platform, and this is responsible for having the player stick onto the platform. And all we're doing is setting the player's parent to be this platform. So we are setting the player as a child of the platform, and this will force the player to kind of stick to the platform without it moving. And again, this is not a very polished way, and I'll be showing you why that is the case. So when we're entering collision with the player, we're setting the player's parent to be this transform, and when we are exiting, we're just resetting the parent of the player to null. And just to show you the final result again and why this is not the most optimal approach. First of all, in order for this to work, the scale needs to be on all axes the same value, otherwise the player will deform. So if I were to stick on this, you can see I am currently sitting on this, and if I were to, let's say, scale the X, you can see that it actually scales the player as well. So we don't want that. So in when you're using this method, you should be ensuring that the platforms are of the same scale, and the platforms are not actually changing scale during runtime. Otherwise, you'll see this kind of weird result, which we do not want. In addition, if I were to reset this again, you'll see that the player actually sticks to the platform if it actually touches it from the side. So if I were to move to the platform and stick from the side, you'll see that it actually moves with the platform still. And this is not the greatest, but it's still a way that you could be adding to your moving platform. So this is still working, but it's not the best way of doing so. If you're interested in a more advanced way, I can cover that in a future video where we're going to be basically fixing these issues with a more polished approach. So that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in a future video covering a more advanced version of this. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and goodbye.